Now we come on to Muhammadur Rasulullah, and just like we had a name for La ilaha illallah Tawheed, we have a name for Muhammadur Rasulullah, and we call it Ittiba'. Ittiba'. And Ittiba' means to follow. And it's not usually used for a literal sense, as in, I follow the brother to the masjid. It's used in a sense of following a religion, or following someone as an example, or following your desires, or following your dreams, that kind of following. Ittiba'. Muhammadur Rasulullah is the statement of Ittiba', like La ilaha illallah is the statement of Tawheed. So just like La ilaha illallah is a statement which represents Tawheed, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is a statement of Ittiba'. In English, it's very simple. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. But in Arabic, it means three things. There are three main things that are meant by Muhammadur Rasulullah. When you say Muhammadur Rasulullah, effectively you're talking about three things. The first thing is that you believe in what he told you about. Can you imagine someone saying Muhammadur Rasulullah and saying, I don't believe in the jinn? Muhammadur Rasulullah, I don't believe in the last day. Muhammadur Rasulullah, I don't believe in the punishment of the grave. Muhammadur Rasulullah, I don't believe in the Isra and the Mi'raj. I don't believe that the Prophet ﷺ went up to the heavens. This is unacceptable, because you're saying that he's the messenger of Allah, but you're not believing the things that he told you about. So especially things that relate to his prophethood and things that relate to the unseen, like what he told you about Allah, what he told you about the angels, the jinn, the day of judgment, paradise, hellfire, and the prophecies of what is going to come. You have to believe in them for you to say Muhammadur Rasulullah. The second part of Muhammadur Rasulullah is that you obey him in what he commanded you to do. So if we look at what the Prophet ﷺ commanded us to do, there are four type of things that the Prophet ﷺ commanded us to do. There are obligations, wajibat, you have to do them. Give me an example of an obligation in Islam. Salah, you have to pray. Fard salah, you have to pray it. Okay? The salah al-faridah, the fard salah, you have to pray it, the obligatory salah. Give me an example of something the Prophet ﷺ recommended. The night prayer. Fasting on a Monday and Thursday. The siwak. Yeah, the miswak or the siwak. So these are examples of things that he recommended. Give me an example of something that he forbade us from. Alcohol. Brilliant. Give me an example of something that he disliked for us to do.
Onions before going to the mosque.
Good. Excellent. Very, very good. Onions before, eating raw onions before going to the masjid. And that's based upon the ulama who say that this is kirahiyah and not tahrim. That when he said, whoever eats from this tree, let him not attend our jama'ah. Again, I would say probably the majority of the scholars say this statement, do not attend, is kirahiyah. It's disliked for you to attend when you have eaten raw onions. Okay. Are all of these the same? Are all of these four categories the same in terms of your reward and your punishment, or not?
What levels?
They're all different. What is the reward and the punishment in the wajibat, in the obligatory actions?
There's a great reward and there's a great punishment.
Okay, what is the reward for and what's the punishment for?
The punishment's for not actually.
Okay, so the punishment is when you don't do them, you don't pray, you don't fast, you don't give zakah, and the reward is for when you do them. Okay, when you pray, when you fast, when you give the zakah. What about the recommendations? What's the punishment and the reward in those?
There's reward if you do it.
There's reward if you do it, but there's no punishment if you don't do it. If you don't use the siwak before every prayer, there's no punishment. but there's a reward if you do it. What about those things that are disliked? Swap it around. There's no punishment if you do them, but there is a reward if you don't. What about the things that are haram? There's a punishment if you do them, and there's a reward if you don't. Yeah, so we're clear that these are different types of advice. Why did we say that recommendations are included in Muhammad or Rasulullah? Because this is going to make you more complete in your love for the Prophet. We're not saying that if you don't do the recommended acts, you haven't given the proper meaning of Muhammad or Rasulullah. You have given the proper meaning. But it's not as complete as the person who does all of the recommended actions as well. That person is more complete in their belief of Muhammad or Rasulullah.